The UNS Endeavour hung in the inky void of space, a gleaming silver needle against the backdrop of infinite stars. In the ship's observation lounge, Commander Lyanna Ereshkigal stood with her hands clasped behind her back, gazing out at the endless expanse. Her dark eyes reflected the distant glow of 1,000 suns, each one a potential harbor for life, for civilization, for the unknown. Behind her, the lounge doors slid open with a soft hiss. Lyanna turned to see her first officer, Commander Dex Cowran, striding toward her. Dex was a tall man with sharp features and a perpetual air of intensity about him. He came to stand beside Lyanna, his gaze also drawn to the stars beyond. "Hard to believe we're really doing this," he said, his voice quiet with awe. "Everything humanity has ever known, every person who's ever lived, it's all behind us now." Lyanna nodded, a faint smile playing at the corners of her mouth. "But look what's ahead of us, Dex. A whole new frontier waiting to be explored." The Endeavour was Earth's first FTL-capable ship, a marvel of human ingenuity and determination. For decades, humanity had been listening to the stars, searching for signs of intelligent life. And then, 5 years ago, they had found it. A repeating signal from a star system 20 light-years away. The signal was unmistakably artificial, a complex series of mathematical sequences that could only have been created by a sentient mind. The revelation had sent shockwaves through human society. Confirmation of alien life was the greatest discovery in the history of the species. Governments had pooled resources, scientists had worked tirelessly, and the public had watched with bated breath as the Endeavour was constructed in high Earth orbit. The ship was a testament to the indomitable human spirit, a spirit that had carried humanity from the savannah to the stars. Now, after years of preparation, the Endeavour was ready to embark on its maiden voyage. The ship's mission was to establish first contact with the alien civilization that had sent the signal. It was a mission of peace, of exploration, of extending the hand of friendship across the void. As Lyanna and Dex watched, a brilliant streak of light cut across the starfield. The Endeavour's ion trail as it accelerated to faster-than-light speeds. The ship vibrated slightly as the FTL drive engaged, the fabric of space-time warping around the hull. The stars outside the viewport stretched and distorted, then vanished altogether as the ship crossed the lightspeed barrier. In the lounge, Lyanna and Dex exchanged a look of exhilaration mixed with trepidation. They were hurtling into the unknown, leaving behind everything they had ever known. But they were also embarking on the greatest adventure in human history. An adventure that would change the course of their species forever. As the Endeavour raced through the void, Lyanna found her thoughts turning to the alien civilization they were about to meet. What would they be like? What wonders and challenges awaited in the uncharted reaches of the galaxy? She didn't know, but she did know one thing with absolute certainty. Whatever lay ahead, humanity would face it with the courage, determination, and boundless ingenuity that had always defined their species. For better or for worse, a new chapter in the story of humanity had begun. The UNS Endeavour decelerated from FTL speeds, the distorted starscape resolving into pinpoints of light as the ship crossed the lightspeed barrier. On the bridge, Commander Lyanna Ereshkigal leaned forward in her command chair, her eyes fixed on the main view screen. "Report," she snapped, her voice taut with anticipation. "We've arrived at the coordinates of the signal source," replied Lieutenant Kira Varish from the navigation console. "Star system designated Kepler 452. G-type main sequence star. 6 planetary bodies detected." Lyanna nodded, her heart racing. This was it, the moment of first contact. The moment humanity had been dreaming of for centuries. "Scan the system," she ordered. "Look for any signs of artificial structures or spacecraft." A tense silence fell over the bridge as the sensor officer, Ensign Ravichandra, worked his console. Seconds ticked by, each one feeling like an eternity. Then Ravi's eyes widened. "Commander, I'm detecting a large spacecraft in orbit around the third planet. It doesn't match any known human design. Lyanna felt a thrill rush through her. On screen, she commanded. The view screen flickered, then resolved into an image that drew gasps from the bridge crew. Hanging against the backdrop of a blue-green world was a ship unlike anything they had ever seen. It was a massive crystalline structure, all gleaming facets and angular planes. It looked more grown than built, as if it had been carved from a single enormous gemstone. Magnificent, breathed Dex Cowrin, standing beside Lyanna's chair. The level of technology required to construct something like that. Lyanna nodded, awestruck. "Open a channel," she said, her voice steadied despite the hammering of her heart. "All frequencies, all known languages." The communications officer, Lieutenant Mira Patel, worked her console. "Channel open, Commander." Lyanna took a deep breath. This was the moment she had trained for, the moment she had dreamed of since she was a child staring up at the stars. "This is Commander Lyanna Ereshkigal of the United Nations ship Endeavor," she said, her voice ringing out clear and strong. "We come in peace, on behalf of all humanity, to extend the hand of friendship to your people." For a long moment, there was only silence. Then, the view screen flickered again, and an image resolved that drew another collective gasp from the bridge crew. The being on the screen was unlike any life form they had ever seen. It was a creature of pure crystal, its body an intricate lattice of glittering facets. It had no discernible face, no eyes or mouth, yet somehow it conveyed an unmistakable sense of intelligence, of awareness. When it spoke, its voice was a melodic chime, a tinkling of glass shards that somehow resolved into words in their minds. "Greetings, Commander Lyanna Ereshkigal of Earth," it said, its tone polite but guarded. "I am Ambassador Chris of the Quaxan hegemony. Your presence here is unexpected." Lyanna frowned slightly at the ambassador's tone. There was something in it, a hint of wariness, even fear, that set her on edge. "We detected your signal from our homeworld," she explained. "We've come to learn about your civilization, to share knowledge and culture between our peoples." Ambassador Chris was silent for a moment. When it spoke again, its tone was carefully measured. "We welcome the opportunity to engage in diplomacy with your species, Commander. Please stand by for docking instructions. We have much to discuss." The screen went blank, and Lyanna sat back in her chair, a mixture of exhilaration and unease churning in her gut. They had done it. They had made first contact. But something about the ambassador's manner, about the way it had said, "your species," sent a chill down her spine. She shook off the feeling. This was a moment of triumph, not apprehension. As the Endeavor glided toward the alien ship, Lyanna allowed herself a small smile. Whatever challenges lay ahead, humanity would face them as they always had, with courage, unity, and an unshakable determination to reach for the stars. "This is unbelievable." Dex Cowrin paced the length of the UNS Endeavor's conference room, his brow furrowed in consternation. "They've been watching us. For how long?" Lyanna Ereshkigal sat at the head of the table, her fingers steepled in front of her face. Her expression was grim. According to Ambassador Crix, the Quaxans and several other advanced civilizations have been observing Earth for centuries, since the advent of our radio communications, at least. Dex shook his head in disbelief. But why? And why reveal this now? Lyanna's eyes were troubled. "That's the disturbing part." The ambassador said that our rapid technological advancement, especially in the fields of space travel and weaponry, has made many of the galactic civilizations uneasy. A heavy silence fell over the room. The implications were staggering. Humanity had always assumed that any alien civilization they encountered would be vastly more advanced than them. The idea that they could be seen as a potential threat was as unsettling as it was surprising. Dr. Elena Ivanova, the ship's chief scientist, spoke up. "It does make a certain kind of sense," she said thoughtfully. "Humanity has always been defined by its adaptability, its ability to survive and thrive in even the harshest of environments. Our history is one of overcoming challenges, of turning adversity into opportunity. From an outside perspective, that kind of relentless drive could be seen as unsettling. Lyanna nodded slowly. The ambassador spoke of our aggressive expansionism. They seem to think that once we have access to FTL technology, we'll spread across the galaxy like a plague, conquering and colonizing every world we come across. Dex snorted. That's ridiculous. We're explorers, not conquerors. Are we? Dr. Ivanova raised an eyebrow. Remember, these civilizations have been watching us for a long time. They've seen our wars, our conflicts, our often brutal competition for resources. They don't know that we've largely outgrown those behaviors. To them, we might seem like a very young, very dangerous species. A grim silence descended once again. Each member of the senior staff was grappling with the ramifications of this revelation. Humanity's first contact with alien life, a moment that was supposed to be a triumph, had taken a deeply unsettling turn. So what do we do now? Dex asked finally, his voice heavy. Lyanna stood, her eyes hard with determination. We do what we came here to do. We continue with the diplomatic mission. We show the Quaxons and any other civilizations watching that humanity is a force for peace, for cooperation, for the betterment of all sentient life. We prove to them that their fears are unfounded. She looked around the room, meeting each of her officers' eyes in turn. This is a pivotal moment in human history. How we handle this will determine the course of our species' future. We must not falter. We must show the galaxy the very best of what humanity can be. Nods of agreement circled the table, each face set with resolve. They were the crew of the Endeavor, the emissaries of Earth. The weight of their species rested on their shoulders. As the meeting adjourned and the officers dispersed to their duties, Lyanna remained in her seat, her mind racing. She thought of the billions of people back on Earth, blissfully unaware of the momentous events unfolding light years away. She thought of the generations to come, the children who would grow up in a galaxy where humanity was known to other civilizations. She thought of the immense responsibility that had been placed upon her crew. They could not fail. They would not fail. For the sake of all humanity, they would find a way to turn this moment of uncertainty into a triumph of diplomacy, a testament to the indomitable human spirit. The stars awaited, and humanity would meet their challenge with unwavering determination. They'd want to do what? Commander Lyanna Ereshkigal's voice was low and dangerous, her eyes hard as flint as she stared at the crystalline form of Ambassador Chris on the view screen. The Galactic Council has proposed a quarantine of your solar system, the ambassador repeated, its melodic voice tinged with regret. All FTL traffic in and out of Sol would be strictly monitored and controlled. Lyanna's hands clenched into fists at her sides. That's outrageous. You're proposing to isolate humanity, to cut us off from the rest of the galaxy. It is a precautionary measure, Kurix said, its facets pulsing with inner light. Many on the Council fear that humanity's unpredictability could destabilize the delicate balance of galactic relations. Unpredictability. First Officer Dex Cowran stepped forward, his face flushed with anger. Is that what you call it? I call it ingenuity, adaptability. The very qualities that have allowed us to thrive in the face of adversity. The bridge of the UNS Endeavor was silent, the tension palpable. The crew looked to Lyanna, awaiting her response. Lyanna took a deep breath, forcing her voice to remain steady. Ambassador, humanity has come to the stars in a spirit of peace and cooperation. To be met with suspicion and isolation, it's a blow to everything we've worked for. I understand your disappointment, Commander, Kurix said. But you must see this from the Council's perspective. Humanity is an unknown quantity, a variable in the equation of galactic stability. The quarantine is not a punishment, but a precaution. Lyanna shook her head. It's a violation of our sovereignty, our right as a sentient species to explore and interact with the galaxy on our own terms. She turned to her crew, seeing the mixture of anger, frustration, and fear on their faces. This was not how any of them had envisioned first contact unfolding. "We need to discuss this as a crew," she said finally. "Ambassador, I request a recess in these negotiations so that we may consider our response." Chris inclined its crystalline head. "Of course, Commander, but do not take too long. The Council will expect a decision soon." The view screen went blank, and Lyanna slumped into her chair, suddenly feeling very tired and very small in the face of the enormity of the situation. Dex laid a hand on her shoulder. "We'll figure this out, Lyanna. Humanity has faced worse odds before." She looked up at him, a faint smile touching her lips. "But never quite like this." She straightened, squaring her shoulders. "All right, people. I want options. How do we respond to this? How do we ensure that humanity is treated as an equal partner in the galactic community, not a potential threat to be contained?" The crew broke into small groups, discussing, debating, arguing. Lyanna watched them work, pride mixing with the worry in her heart. They were the best Earth had to offer, brilliant minds and brave souls, every one of them. Whatever challenges lay ahead, whatever obstacles the galaxy placed in their path, she knew one thing with absolute certainty. Humanity would not face them lying down. They would stand tall, they would adapt, and they would find a way. It was, after all, what they had always done. The UNS Endeavour shuddered as another volley of crystalline projectiles slammed into its shields. On the bridge, Commander Lyanna Ereshkigal gripped the arms of her chair, her knuckles white. "Shields at 30%, shouted Lieutenant Kira Varish from the tactical station. "We can't take much more of this." Lyanna gritted her teeth. The attack had come without warning, a splinter faction of the Quaxons who opposed any contact with humanity. They had ambushed the Endeavour as it left the Quaxon homeworld, determined to end the human threat once and for all. "Evasive maneuvers," Lyanna ordered. "Get us some distance." The Endeavour lurched as it banked hard, trying to put some space between itself and the attacking ships. But the Quaxon vessels were fast and maneuverable, keeping pace with the human ship. On the view screen, the lead Quaxon ship loomed, its crystalline hull glinting malevolently. Lyanna's mind raced, searching for a solution, a way out. Suddenly, First Officer Dex Cowran spoke up. "The Balmer Leaf Coil," he exclaimed. "If we channel the warp plasma through it, it could create a resonance burst that might disrupt their crystalline structures." Lyanna's eyes widened. It was a desperate gamble, but it might be their only chance. "Do it," she barked. The bridge crew leaped into action, hands flying over consoles as they rerouted power, realigned systems. The ship groaned under the strain, alarms blaring, lights flickering. And then, with a blinding flash, a pulse of energy erupted from the Endeavour, washing over the Quaxon ships. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, the alien vessels began to vibrate, their crystalline hulls resonating, cracks spreading like spiderwebs. One by one, the Quaxon ships shattered, exploding into shimmering clouds of crystal dust. The bridge crew erupted in cheers, hugging each other, laughing with the relief of those who have looked death in the face and lived. Lyanna slumped back in her chair, a slow smile spreading across her face. They had done it. Against all odds, humanity had proved its mettle, demonstrated the ingenuity and determination that had carried them to the stars. The view screen crackled, and the image of Ambassador Kuris appeared, its facets pulsing with what could only be described as admiration. "Commander Ereshkigal," it said, its voice resonant, "the Galactic Council has witnessed your crew's bravery and resourcefulness. We were wrong to doubt humanity's place among the stars. The quarantine order is hereby rescinded. Earth is free to take its rightful place in the galactic community." Lyanna felt tears prick her eyes, tears of pride, of vindication, of sheer, overwhelming joy. She looked around at her crew, at the faces of these brave men and women who had risked everything for the sake of their species. "Thank you, Ambassador," she said, her voice thick with emotion. Humanity is honored to join the community of sentient life. We come not as conquerors, but as friends, as partners in the great adventure of existence. As the transmission ended, Lyanna stood, facing her crew. Set a course for Earth, she said, her voice ringing with triumph. It's time to bring the good news home. The Endeavor turned, its prow pointing towards the distant sun that had birthed humanity. As it leaped into FTL, riding the currents of warped spacetime, Lyanna felt a sense of destiny settling over her crew, over her entire species. Humanity had taken its first steps into a larger universe, had faced the challenges and fears of the unknown, and emerged stronger for it. As the ship hurtled through the void, carrying the hopes and dreams of an entire world, Lyanna knew that this was only the beginning. The stars beckoned, and humanity would answer their call, not with fear, but with courage, with wonder, with an unquenchable thirst to explore, to discover, to reach ever further into the infinite possibilities of the cosmos. It was, after all, their destiny.